Hi everyone, Amanda Jane here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do corner to corner granny crochet. So this is a really useful technique if you like a stripe or you like these diagonal patterns. I've turned my corner to corner crochet into a lovely cowl or scarf for the winter time in these gorgeous autumn colours in this self-striping yarn. So this is I'll put it this way so that you can actually see the colourway. It goes from these lovely blues and greens through to the oranges, and I think gives a really nice effect, and you can wear this with in these autumn days. So how do we make this? Well, the thing is to start at one corner, and I've made this tiny little example here as to how the corner works, because this is the trick to getting this right. So the first bit is a little tricky. I'm going to talk you through it, then we'll do an example, and then off you go. Just grab yourself some double knitting number 3 weight yarn, either self-striping or plain, whatever you like, and a size 4mm crochet hook. You could go up to a 4.5 to give it a bit more drape. That's entirely up to you. Now we start off with our magic circle here. You can do chain and then join them, which will give you a pointier end but may give you a little gap. We then do 2 sets of 3 double crochet. We then increase with like a half a cluster. So it's some chain and 1 double crochet in the same stitch. Work our way back by doing into there's a gap here. You're going to do 3 double crochet, and then in this last space you're going to do 2 double crochet, and then you're going to come up this way. And so each row, if we look at it this way, adds in, ignoring these side bits, 1 more double crochet, so that you know that you are on track. Because when you start off you can get a bit lost, but trust me, follow the tutorial and you'll be absolutely fine. So let's keep this, and push that up to the top left, and we'll keep this here because I'll just keep referring back to it. Now I'm down to a very tiny bit of this wonderful self-striping yarn from Hayfield. It's a mixture of acrylic and wool, and I'm really enjoying using it. So I've done 2 other videos using this yarn. One was how to do a rectangle, so you can find that, and the other was how to turn a granny square into a purse. Anyway, let's start with our corner to corner granny stitch scarf. Start by doing a magic loop. Take the tail, grab it, and then wrap your working yarn around your 2 fingers like so to make an X. Then you're going to go with your 4mm crochet hook for double knitting weight yarn under the right leg of the X, over the top left, pull through, twist, and then go under the top left again and go through the loop on your hook. And that's the easiest way I've found of making a magic loop. You can pull the tail a bit until your circle is about 1 centimetre, half an inch across, like so. Then we're going to do 2 chain. So hold your magic circle loop, whatever you like to call it, magic loop, between your fingers to stop it from coming loose. 2 chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to do 5 double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3. We said 5. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, 4, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our first row. Now you can pull that nice and tight, and that is our corner. So that is equivalent to this bit here. Now we're going to make our straight side going up here. So we're going to start off. Now I would do two chain quite tightly, and then 1 chain not so tightly. I know that's a bit technical. Sometimes with doing granny squares or doing the sides, if you crochet quite loosely, you only need to do 2 chain, but if your tension is tight, then do 3 chain. Now we're going to turn our work to the left. So our triangle is coming this way. It doesn't look like a triangle much at the moment. It will. Now yarn over, and we're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch that we took the chain out of. So it's this little space here, just here, right at the top. There we go. So that's our first half a cluster. Then we want to find the gap, well, we're going to make a gap, 1, 2, 3, in between our 2 sets of 3 here, just here, and we're going to do our first main cluster just here into there. So it's 3 double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and do 2 more in the same gap. Last one, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm not doing a chain between my clusters because I don't want the holes in my work to be too big. So we're now going to go into the top of the 3 chain that we did at the beginning. So 1, 2, 3 into this stitch here. So just do yarn over first, and then just find, by turning your work slightly towards you, the top of that chain. There we go. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to do another one to create our half a cluster. Well, obviously it's 2/3 because it's 2 out of 3, but we'll call it a half. And this is what is creating the triangle shape. So we are just about there. Like we did at the beginning of this row, to get onto the next row, we're going to do our 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, not too loose, not too tight. I mean, tighter than maybe you would do if you were really going for it. We do a double crochet into this first little stitch here, right up close to the 3 chain, to create our first half cluster. Now we have got 2 holes, 1, 2, and we're going to do 2 sets of clusters. So it's 2 by 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, no chain in between, 1, 2, and 3. We've reached the end. Find your yarn over and then find your 3rd chain. Push your, this is always quite tricky. Push your needle, your hook into that top of that, and do our final 2 double crochet, three chain, 1, 2, 3, turn your work to the left, and then you're going to work your way down this side, yarn over into that first chain right next to your chain that you made here. Now we have 3 chain spaces to go into, 1, 2, 3. So you can see we've got the beginning, the foundation, 1 group, 2 groups, and now we have 3 groups. So I'll speed up a little bit because I want to show you in a moment how to turn your triangle into a square or a rectangle, because that's useful, because you might want to use up your scraps and make these triangles into squares and then join them together to make a small blanket. Depends how much yarn you've got. Into that final corner. A tiny little ball of wool I have. I had to rewind it because it 1, 2, 3, it all came apart. So let's just quickly do 2 more rows so you can see how quickly it grows, and then we'll start to do our decreases. Sometimes it's easy to forget that first increase in the row, so just keep checking your work as you go. It forms a really lovely pattern, so you can really see what you're doing, but you need sort of 4 or 5 rows in order to actually see the whole pattern emerge. Same with most crochet patterns, to be quite honest with you. Actually really need, you know, a good couple of inches before a pattern really shows its beauty. But this is actually quite fun. Don't forget to put a proper full double crochet cluster into that last space before you then do your 2 . 2 double crochet into the chain, and I missed the chain just there, so that's why I stopped. It's much nicer, you get a much nicer edge if you go right through the stitch. 1, 2, 3, turn our work. Let's see, and you'll block this out with a steam iron. Be careful if you're using 100% acrylic yarn not to melt it. Just get a damp tea towel, soak the damp tea towel and wring it out, and then place it over your work, and then put your iron on its highest setting, but don't really press. You just really want to hover over that damp tea towel, and that will help, and obviously it'll heat up, that will help set your triangle into the right shape. Lots of tutorials on blocking your work and fancy things for blocking granny squares. I like to keep things very affordable and try not to use too many gadgets. 1, 2, 3. So this self-striping yarn is now moving on to a very rich yellowy colour from the orange. So this is Hayfield Spirit. Okay, so we've reached here. So I could actually stop and keep this as a triangle, but say I wanted to create a square, I'm obviously going to have to decrease across. So let's see how we decrease. So now I'm going to show you how to decrease on both the top edge and the side. So we've got 5 across in our slope, we've got 5 going across this way and 5 going across that way. Now the next thing to do is to make sure that the next row we go down to 4. So the first thing to do is to turn our work and do our first 3 chain in the normal way, 1, 2, 3, and our little cluster, our half cluster as before with our double crochet. Now instead of continuing into this gap, we're going to continue into this gap here with our first cluster. 1, 2, 3, and this starts to turn the work into a smaller row. So we continue right across as we did previously. I'll just quickly go across this little sample. 1, 2, 3, and into here, but we stop before we get to that final cluster that we did in the previous row in this space here, and we finish this off by doing find the top of the chain, 2 double crochet that are going to go across the top. Doesn't want to play ball. Hold on a moment. One and 2. Three chain, turn your work, double crochet into that first space just like before, but we're going to miss out that first gap. And we're going to go into this gap here, into the second gap. And this will help us go right across the top. I'll just show you how that works, like so. So we're keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every row is going to be 5 plus a little half cluster. And the other way to check is when we get to the end of the row, we'll count the number of clusters we have on the diagonal, and that will help keep us in check. So if we look diagonally, we had 5 here, we've got 4 here, and now we've got 3 complete clusters. So now we need to join 2 at the top of the chain. With our half cluster, 3 chain, turn your work, double crochet into that first stitch, miss the gap, go into the next gap with our first cluster, and then our second cluster, and then we'll be right at the end of the row with just 2 chain. Join our work to the top of the third chain with our half cluster, 3 chain, 2, 3, turn your work, double crochet, and then we're down to our very last cluster of 3 double crochet. We're going to attach our final, for the final time, like so. And when you press this, you can turn it into a proper square by blocking it out. We've just got our final corner to do, which I will do by going into this stitch here with 6 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Slip stitch into the third chain, like so. Trim off your yarn, leaving an end for sewing together, and pull it through carefully. There we go. Now we have our, it's a bit skew whiff at the moment because we were working in one direction the whole time, and that will make our work lean. But once you block this out, pin it down to your board, it will start to, you can square it up. Put it on one of those cutting mats and square it up. Even if you just maybe soak this, it will just, you can then ease it into a square. So there we go. That's how you turn your triangle into a square. And you could join this up to other ones made with self-striping yarn. You could stripe it yourself. You could do half the square in a solid colour, the other half in a toning colour, and start to make a patchwork. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's been fun to do, and I've really enjoyed making this scarf, which I've joined up to make a cowl, and I'll be wearing that in the autumn. So please subscribe to the channel and press the bell for notifications of upcoming videos. Hope you have a lovely day. Take care. Bye.